What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, reviewing today the new Nintendo 3DS. This just came out in America today, and people have been asking me what my thoughts were on it. So let's really just kind of overview all the new features you're getting with this model. So as you can see, first and foremost, there is now a second analog stick. We've always had this left analog stick, but they've added a second analog stick here. They've said they plan on doing a lot more massive open world 3D games that just weren't possible with a single analog stick. So they just added the second stick here called the C stick, whereas this is a full motion rotating like actual analog knob. This just feels like a little more nub. It doesn't really have too much of a toggle function feel to it, so I assume it's going to be kind of a flick option like that. It's not too bad. I kind of like it. It feels really durable. The other thing they've added now is there are two extra shoulder buttons. We've always had L and we've always had R, but now we have ZL and ZR. I have a feeling that this is going to be for shooting games and adventure games where you're going to be doing an option that requires you to press both simultaneously. I imagine it'll be a little bit weird trying to hunt and peck which button I want to press, but I don't know. I like it so far. The other options are more internal. There is now a special reading device inside of here that's going to work with amiibos. So whenever you get an amiibo, there's going to be games going forward that are going to have a thing where you press it on there and it'll make him zap into the game. They've already announced that there's an upcoming Pokemon game that's going to have it where if you press Pokemon amiibos into this, it's going to make them appear in the game or give you different bonuses. So if you're an amiibo collector, this is a huge bonus for you. Another thing is there is a faster processor inside of this now. So if you're playing any of the original DS games or the original 3DS games, they're going to load a heck of a lot faster. I've already noticed this a lot playing the new Legend of Zelda game. That, by the way, that review is coming out tomorrow. This is just overall a better system. It's just a lot better. The example I'm going to give, because people aren't really understanding why it's called just the new 3DS, basically think of it as the Game Boy Color. When you were going from the original Game Boy to the Game Boy Color, it wasn't the biggest jump ever, but it actually had a lot more internal programming stuff that greatly improved it. Just trying to give you a size comparison here about how humongous the 3DS XL is. This thing is massive. This is the size of a normal standard 3DS. This is my purple here, my favorite color. This is the standard 3DS. When they come out with the normal new 3DS later this year, this is the size it's going to be. So you can see that there's actually a 98% size screen difference. It's almost double the size. One thing that I think is fantastic about this model is on the original 3DS XL, half of the mass was held in the base and half of the mass was in the screen, and it made it feel extremely top heavy. If you notice on the new 3DS, this is the new 3DS XL, all of the processor is held in the base, what will be held with your palm and with your hands. And the screen itself is actually pretty narrow. This has such a balanced feel. I mean, literally, I can play this thing all day. Does not bother my wrists at all. Also, those speakers are super loud and super crisp. I love this thing. It is just massive. Just to, again, point out how massive it is. This is your Game Boy Micro. Just this Game Boy Micro screen is 1/8 the size, probably, of just this one screen. The two biggest drawbacks of this model, though, and it's definitely a humongous flaw, is one, it does not come with a charger at all. If you buy the new 3DS, it doesn't have a charger at all. You have to buy it separately, or you have to have already had a 3DS so that you can use the same charger. This does use the same charger as the new 3DS, the old 3DS, and also the DSi. So that's not too bad. A lot of us do have these already laying around. This is the way they've been doing it in Japan for a long time, but it does kind of irk me. The other massive problem is the fact that it is so difficult to transfer data from your old 3DS to your new 3DS. Now, before, if you were transferring data from one console to another, you simply get this console, open up your little SD card slot, you take this slot with all your downloaded data and everything, and you put it in the new system. That's it. That's all it took. That little thing. Now, in order to try and switch stuff, you have to get a size 0 screwdriver, open this up, and actually manually take that out. There is also the option of going and transferring it through Wi-Fi, but that can take hours sometimes to try and transfer all your saved data via Wi-Fi. Overall, I really like this new console. I just love how big it is. I love how massive this thing is. I love that the card slot is down here now. I am one of those doofuses who bumps games out of my normal 3DS all the time. I like it. Basically, you're gonna have to jump on the board eventually, because all games going forward are going to start being made on this. I think it's going to be a lot like the Game Boy Color. Originally, we had the Game Boy, and games were only coming out on that, and then after about 6 months, they started coming out for both the 3DS, or both the Game Boy Color and the standard Game Boy, and then after a while, they were only coming out on the Game Boy Color. And I think that's the way it's going to be with this, is we're going to start out having games that have both features, and then eventually, they are only going to come out on this. Oh, one small extra feature I forgot to mention is the fact that now it tracks your face movement, and it makes sure to always make the 3D optimized for you. And I've already noticed that a lot. The 3D on the original 3DS basically was a spotlight. It aimed in one direction, and if you weren't in the right place at the right time, it was just a blurry mess. It still kind of becomes a blurry mess on this occasionally, but it works a lot better. This is it. This has been everything about the new 3DS, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you want me to do more console reviews, leave me a comment down below. I always like to do anything I can. I love doing reviews. This has been DreamcastGuy. Follow me on Twitter, go to the Facebook page, and subscribe. But thanks so much for watching, and keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe check out my last video. Please subscribe, and if you want, share this somewhere with your friends.